Hi everyone, today I'm going to be running through some of the Matomo analytics systems that we've been working on at E2 Studios. So we picked up this a while ago because we were looking at what we can do for our sites to basically ensure that we were GDPR compliant and our data wasn't being pilfered and pinched and used elsewhere. So we started looking around and we found a system called Matomo Analytics. Now this piece of kit allows us to do a fair chunk of things, and we've also enabled a fair amount of plugins that we've been working with and testing over the course of the last couple of weeks. Now we've only been running this now for 2 weeks, so we haven't got a huge amount of data yet so far, but it should give us a bit of an idea about how it's working and hopefully share with that knowledge with other people that may be looking at utilising something similar in the future. So we're going to start off very, very briefly with our dashboard area. Now the dashboard here shows information about, well, I'll go through. So first part we've got at the moment, so we've added this on the top of our visitors. So we can see very, very, very clearly that the vast majority of our visitors come through Chrome, Chrome Mobile, Firefox, etc. Okay. Now we can just change the way these pretty much work, so we can change them into vertical bars, or we can move them into just a simple table, and we can get the relevant actions from there, or we can just remove it from the dashboard. We've got the same with device types, so we can see device types, so the 81% of our users come through desktop, which is actually quite a pretty cool little statistic to look at, because generally speaking now, around usually about 50 to 55% of users usually come through mobile, but we're seeing quite a lot still through desktop, which I guess is probably the nature of our business, where we've got a lot of people trying to, usually at an office or somewhere where they're at PC to look at it further. But it's quite a good way that we can see where our users are coming from. Over here we can see our visitors over time, so not great from a year's perspective, we haven't got that much data yet, but over a month or over not a day, I don't know where these dates are, but over time it shows us where our users are coming from and how they're interacting with us. Okay. On the right side we've got our visitors map, and again we can see it by geographical location where the majority of our viewers are coming from. Philippines, the UK 33%, 47% the US. On the right hand side you can also see it by city if we've got that data connected. On the right side we can also see the channel types, so we can see 133 visits come directly, so literally just go to e2studios.com. We can see that 43% of our visits come through search engines, and this is where they've come through, whether they've typed in E2 Studios or web designers near me, and this is how they found us. 22% came from external websites, so from different companies that have links to us. They've clicked on those. Social networks, so we've had 7 people come from Facebook, 3 people come from LinkedIn. And we can also see people's activity, so the people that came from LinkedIn seem to be more interested in staying for a longer period of time and doing more actions than those that came from Facebook. Okay, so again, really cool little metrics. We can also see the movers and shakers. Now this one isn't perfect right now because we don't have a huge amount of data, so it's comparing it to a previous year. Now because we weren't running it last year, well, we're at 100% for everything. So we can also see now what you would be able to see if we looked at a week to week, month to month basis is your uptake. So has it increased within those page views or has it decreased, and what do we need to look at amending? Okay. We can also see the pages, so the page views, the unique views, and the bounce rates within those pages. And we can also see any real-time statistics. Now these are really cool as well, so if we go further down to direct, I can click on it here and it'll show us how this user's journey happened. So they went to the home page, the about page, the contact, the about Matt McMahon page, the about Michael Pardon page. So you can go through the different actions and you can see what a user's journey looked like, what kind of device and windows they were on, etc. Now all this stuff is completely anonymized and compliant with GDPR requirements, as we don't churn or collate any of those data for our users. We can also go through further details as the folders, so what folders do people go to. A lot of people moving over to the on-site, on-page SEO or lead generation, web development, etc. What we can also see, and I really like this part, is the open transitions. So if I click on open transitions, this shows that everyone who's been to the home page, where they came from. So 16 came from internal pages, 31 came from search engines, 10 from social media, 13 from websites, and 80 came directly to the homepage first. And we can even go into detail about where they came from, which platform, and what websites they came from. What is really interesting, it also shows us that journey. So anyone that was on the homepage, where did they go after the homepage? So 30% of them went over to the contact page, which is nice. 24% went to the about page, 20% to services. Some people even went externally, so they visited our LinkedIn profiles or Facebook or Instagram, etc. Okay, so really clear. Now we can even go onto this and say, right, I want to click on the services page, and where did people go to after the services? So afterwards, they went back to the homepage, or they went further into web development, or they went to About James, or they went to lead generation, or they went to website development, specifically for blogging websites, or they exited the site as well. Okay, so this is a really good way to see where are your traffic moving, and if they get into a place that you don't want them to leave at, then we need to look at that. Okay. So that's a little bit about the transitions, and we can also add things to this dashboard as well. We can add different metrics, different visitor profiles, different types of devices. We could even look at what times of the week people are coming. So generally, our activity on a Wednesday, and we can even change that to table view if we wanted to look at it on a table basis. Okay. We can then go over to visitors. So in the base overview, there's not really too much to see here, just some high-level stats. But we can go into the visitors log, which is kind of what we've seen before, where we can see people's interactions. We can see real time, anyone that's in here now. We can look at it by location, so whether that's by country, by continent, or region, or whatever else that we want to, look further into, even city if we want to go into more depth. We can look at it by device. So we can see the different types of devices, models, brands, screen resolutions, and we can even see the software that they've utilised, so what operating system are they on, and then we can also look at the times that people are visiting. So oddly enough, in our system, the vast majority of people visit our site at 5 in the morning. Then we have 10 in the morning and 2 p.m. are our busiest times. We've also got behaviour, so we can look at what pages are getting the traction. So this is what we've seen before, and if we're looking at more depth, what we also see is the full amount of bounce rate, how long people are averagely on a page, and where's the exit. Now we can see here people exit on a contact page at 54%. Not really too much of an issue in terms of this one, because we want people to contact you and have a look around or leave at that juncture. But the important part is, are they actually filling the contact form? We can also see our entry pages. So these are the first pages people are going to on the site. They've not come somewhere else internally. These are the first pages. Our exit pages. So our highest exit page is the home page. And then we've also got things further down where we've got certain service pages are quite high. And then the contact page on individually is fairly high. We can look at it by page title. If you have an internal search system, so you could have like a shopping system or someone searching for a service, this will also work here. Now we don't have one, so it won't work on ours, but we can even have a search system that will show you which keywords people are typing in. Anyone that's doing any downloads, any events being pulled through, we don't have any events and actions. We can even look at the transitions. So we looked at this one very briefly before, but we can go into showing page titles instead to get a different viewpoint. Performance shows you where people are getting hang times. So if there's any certain pages that are quite slow to load, then there's ways you can do some investigations there. Users flow is probably one of the coolest ones that I've been seeing recently. And this one allows us to look at here and say, right, these are where people have started. So this is a bit different from the transition where it shows you where people go through for pages. This is specific through journeys where people are generally moving on a journey. Okay? So we can see here, they started from the home page. A chunk of people, about 8%, move over to the services page. We've got another chunk that go back to the home page, so they click on maybe the logo. We've got another chunk that goes to the contacts, the who are we, the web development. From here, from services, we see people moving to different service pages. We see people moving into the online ads. We see people moving into the home page again. So you can see people's journeys and where they've been moving through over a course of time. And you can even see from the contacts, after the contact they've gone to see more about Matt. But you can see how this user's journey has affected things and where you might see that there's gaps and where there's issues where actually they've got to that place, and here we've got a 92% exit rate. So is there something that we have to look at in these pages to find out why people are leaving? And now you can see it in more detail. So we've got someone that hit a page not found. We've got comparing your relationship to these social medias and their exiting. Now for blog posts, you would generally expect people to leave anyway, because they usually get their content and then leave. And you can kind of go further on and add more, and it'll go to interaction 3 3, 4, 5 into this as well. So it'll just carry on going to the journey. Okay, and then we can finally see the top path. So where are people hitting the most in terms of the flow and their interactions, and where do they go from there? Okay, so that's a little bit about the visitors, the behaviors, and how they're working. Next time we'll probably go through some more about the screen options, the heat map systems that we're going to be talking about, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much. Bye.